in today's session of Divorce Court. Heather King says her husband Thomas won't leave her past behind, and now she's through fighting about it.
Excuse me, I'm talking. Shut up.
Don't tell him to shut up. I'm the only one who tells somebody to shut up in this courtroom. What were you fighting about?
Basically stuff that she had, you know, finding pictures of naked guys.
X-rated type pictures?
She had pictures of guys lifting up her shirt, playing with her boobs.
Whoa!
And she says her husband's only true love was his reptile collection.
What type of reptile collection are we talking about?
Red-tailed boas, Burmese pythons, savanna monitors.
Oh my goodness, let me see.
That's a big snake.
Thing weighs more than I
A
do.
big snake.
Today, Heather King hopes to put her past behind her as she faces Thomas King one last time in divorce court.
All rise. Court is now in session. Maybelline Ephraim presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is the matter of Thomas King versus Heather King. And Ms. King, I'm advised that after a year and a half of marriage, you're ready to end it. Why so soon?
Well, I realized that Thomas couldn't live up to his
Oh, no,
obligation
that ain't
excuse
true.
me.
Excuse
he
me,
asked
what's
me.
not true?
Thank
She
you.
hasn't gotten anything out of her mouth yet. Can she finish the sentence?
Yep.
All right.
Anyways, he couldn't live up to his obligation as a father and as a husband. Started out in the beginning, he was very
In a
possessive.
year and a half, you have a child?
Yes.
And he couldn't live up to that obligation that soon?
Nope. He has two children. He has one from a previous relationship.
Was he living up to it then?
He was for a while. He paid child support regularly, and then he got behind. He was a good dad. I mean, he was. And it started out, he was very possessive of me. I had
what?
a ring within a month of knowing him to be married, and
That's possessive?
well, that, and he would go through my things. He would find jewelry that he thought maybe an ex-boyfriend or, you know, someone had given me and would sell it to his friends or, you know, turn around and try to give it away.
Was this
And,
before he married you?
Yes.
Who let
Wait
you
a
sell
minute.
it? Who let you sell it? You did.
Wait a minute. Before he married you, he'd go through your jewelry
Oh, and
and
picture.
sell it to somebody
and
else?
Yeah, he would decide what, you know, he thought was.
No,
like one
basically-
time I remember I was in the shower and he was staying at my house and he said he went through my room and I came to
Did you
find
marry
out-
me though? Did you marry me? Yes, you did.
Well, obviously she did. You're here for a divorce, right?
And I went through her pictures and found stuff like that. I
He
was a
didn't
good
ask
dad.
you.
I saw-
She's
Wait,
talking
hold
to
on a second,
me.
please.
Thank you.
Now,
He would go through my things and decide what I could keep and what I couldn't keep, what clothes I could wear, what I couldn't wear.
so now I have to ask you the question that he asked you. And you married him anyway?
I was pregnant at that time, so we got married. Basically, our families agreed, and we agreed that it would have been the right thing to do for
Because
the
you were
child.
pregnant?
Yes.
But
Well,
marriage is more than that. All you do is bring a child into an already troubled relationship between two adults.
Well, and I saw him with his other daughter, and I mean, he was good to her, definitely. She was a little bit older, and he.
So you thought he'd be good to your child? Even though he's possessive and going through your things and controlling you and selling your stuff that came from some other person that you knew long before you ever knew this man and married him, you thought that that would work. Did you think that that made him love you more? Did you feel good about the fact that he was that jealous of you? Is that what it was?
No, not really. I think it was just. I didn't really think that it would continue. I mean, I didn't think that he would keep going through things and trying to like catch me doing things.
Oh, you thought
that-
he'd change after you married him?
Basically.
What
people
made
do
you think
change.
that?
Because he, his past, he has a pretty, you know, scarred past as far as, you know, run-ins with the law and stuff. And when I met him, he was going to church and he was, you know, trying to change his life. So,
So
I
he
mean,
changed that way.
Yeah, he, you know, he hasn't been in any trouble. But I mean,
Why were you so nosy and going through all those
So
things? What did
nosy.
you care about the past?
Things were going good. Stuff started going downhill. We started fighting.
Okay, things going good, stuff going downhill
You're good.
tells me
We
much
going
of
to
nothing.
church. We
fought
started
before.
fighting.
We fought before. We
And what
fought
were you
way
fighting
before.
about?
Basically stuff that she had, you know, finding pictures of naked guys and stuff
Oh,
like that
please.
with hard-ons.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
you can-
You know what I mean? You know, You know, I don't want to
Is
bring
this
this in
before
court.
or after
This
the
is after
marriage?
we were married, in my own house that I'm paying rent for. You know what I
You
mean?
found her with pictures of the guys or by
Through
just
her
the
shit
guys?
that was or stuff, books in my house.
Yeah, it's okay
But
for
were
me
these
to find.
pictures of the guys before she
Yeah,
married
before,
or
but
after?
bringing it before we were married, but bringing it into my house is disrespectful.
But
It
he
is?
could bring
I think so.
pornography
What she
and
owned
magazines.
before, what she owned before,
What-
and what her past
Yeah.
was, and whatever she did in terms of pictures of family, pictures of friends, pictures of past memories, can't be brought into your house.
Not of naked men. Having that stuff in your house, having kids. I mean, what about when they get older and they go through it?
So you
know what
didn't
I mean?
think it was good?
I didn't think it was right.
But let me ask you something. If this is a past, Mrs. King, and you're finished with those guys, you've now met a man that you believe is decent, he's going to take good care of you and your child, and he's changed his life and changed his stripes, why do you want those pictures? Why can't you just take pictures of him?
Well, first of all, I didn't even remember that picture was there. I mean, I don't go through my pictures. I have a lot of pictures. I mean, I do.
No, she'd
and
have
I don't
friends.
Go,
She'd have
excuse
fri-
me,
she'd have
she's
friends
talking
come
to
over.
me
May
and
I
she
let, would you let
asked
her
me.
answer the question?
All right.
And, you know, I didn't go through all my pictures. And, I mean, we got married rather quickly. I
How
mean,
quickly?
5 months.
Within 5 months.
Because she was pregnant. We
Excuse
thought
me,
it was
I'm
right then.
talking.
Oh, excuse me. I'm talking.
Why would you want to keep those pictures?
Why? I didn't. Well, I think that the way I grew up, I don't have a lot of pictures of myself. And,
We're not talking about yourself. We're talking about these other men.
well, I mean, I don't have pictures. I think that was the only picture I had that was of a single person.
So you
most
just
of my
had
pictures
one?
were like, most of my pictures were like of
she
me
had
going to
she had pictures of
homecoming
guys lifting
or-
up her shirt, playing with her boobs, with her bra on. I mean, if you really, seriously.
X-rated type pictures?
Just a little
I don't
bit. I
think
mean, it
so.
showed
I
her
think
bra
he's
and stuff like that. I ripped
But
it
Mr.
up.
King, all that says is that had you taken some time to
No,
get
she-
to know her,
She wouldn't have got rid of it. She thinks
had
the
you
past.
taken some time to get to know her, you probably would have seen those pictures before you married her. And then you could have made a decision
Yeah.
whether to marry a person like that. So you can't get angry with her when you find the pictures after 5 months. Okay? You didn't take the time to evaluate the person, and vice versa. So you take them as you find them.
When divorce court returns, Thomas testifies about his other true love.
Red-tailed boas, Burmese pythons, Savannah monitors.
Oh my goodness, let me see.
That's a big snake.
Thing weighs more than I
A
do.
big snake.
If you would like to have the judge hear your case in divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. Divorce court is back in the case of Thomas King, who says he could never trust his wife Heather after he found X-rated pictures of her and other men.
Stuff wasn't going right. We had our bad days. We had our good days.
Like everybody else.
Yeah, like everybody else.
No.
We were fighting. She wanted to go to Washington to stay for 2 weeks with her mom. I paid for the plane ticket. She went up there. While she was up there, I let my sister and her boyfriend and 3 kids, because they were going through a crisis. You know, it's family. And I called her in Washington and told her that, and she said, well,
Let them what? You didn't finish the sentence.
let them live in my apartment while she was in Washington for
Okay.
2 weeks.
And you were still there.
And I was still there working.
You were not working.
Yeah,
You
kind
were
of
not
working.
So that caused
You haven't
conflict when you
worked
let
for
them
the
move in?
longest time.
That caused conflict from her because basically she didn't like my sister.
No, can I say something?
No,
No,
she-
not yet. Let him finish.
She didn't like my sister, so she said, when I come back, make sure she's gone. She wasn't gone, so she got in a fight with my sister in the front yard. Then that's when really stuff started going bad. We got her 30-day notice because the cops were getting called. We moved to Washington, sold everything that I owned. You know, stuff of hers. We had a yard sale, made $700 in 2 weeks. Her grandma said that it was all right to move up there for free rent for 6 months. So basically, I sold everything that I had to be a good dad, to be a good husband, to move to Washington. I didn't know nobody.
What happened when you got to Washington?
We moved to Washington because of his family. Because no one was...
Because of his family or your
Yeah,
family?
No, his family.
Why? What was going on with his family from your perspective?
His sister was staying with us.
You don't like her?
Well, I don't like her lifestyle. No, and when she's living in my home, I expect her to follow my rules. I mean, she's 23 years old. She can do that. Excuse me.
No, you
Let
weren't.
her finish her statement.
And she was living there. We had a very small apartment, very small. And it was her, her boyfriend, 3 children, me, my husband, my daughter, and sometimes his daughter, and all of his reptiles.
She was gone.
Excuse me, what led up to this was...
And you were just married, and now you got to have all of these other family members you add to the marriage.
We had a lot of problem, between us.
She wanted to help my family out, too.
Excuse me, I'm talking.
She wanted to help my family out, too.
No, don't use that phrase. Don't tell him to shut up.
She wanted to help my family out,
Mr. King, be quiet for a moment. I'm the only one who tells somebody to shut up in this courtroom.
All right.
Okay, so here's the scenario I have. Two people marry after knowing each other for 5 months. There's a jealous and a possessive man. You're not getting along. You have a baby and add another problem to it. You have a sister and other family members and add them to the equation, more problems. You go move with mother-in-law, grandmother-in-law on the mother's side, more problems. Now, it's over. And then something about the reptiles. What about the reptiles? Let's add that to the mix too.
I sold all those. No, that's my thing.
Wait a minute now. Where reptiles come from?
The reptiles are mine. I got the picture right here.
So you sold all your possessions to move to Washington, including reptiles?
Yeah. And stuff at yard.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Tell me about the reptiles.
No, don't interrupt me.
Mrs. King, I'm asking him to tell me about the reptiles.
She asked me about my reptiles. That's my hobby since I was 8 years old. I used to breed them. I used to catch them when I was younger. I grew up in the hills.
You talking about snakes?
Snakes, yeah.
Snakes,
I got
lizards.
Lizards, rattlesnakes, you name it.
What type of reptile collection are we talking about?
Red-tailed boas, Burmese pythons, savanna monitors, turtles.
You collected these?
Yeah, but they were in cages.
This was a hobby?
That's a hobby, man. You can make money doing it.
Where did you keep all of these animals?
Up against the wall. It was out of the way.
In the kitchen, all
With
over.
your child?
But she knew I was buying them, and she said it was all right.
Hold on. You're collecting snakes, lizards, boa constrictors, and what else?
Just everything.
Oh, he had
with your child, with your
monitors.
young child.
Yeah, with locks on the with
what
the big
happened
snakes.
if one of them gets out?
If they wouldn't get out, they wouldn't have got. They wouldn't have got out.
Look at the size of that animal.
Yeah, look at the size. Look at the.
How did you? What type? How much is this? Oh my!
That's a big
goodness.
snake, huh? And there's the price list of the stuff that I had to get rid of, roughly that I gave away and sold some.
And that's just one of them. He had a 10-foot and a 14-foot.
But the snake thing is mine.
Wait a minute.
That's a big snake.
Thing weighs more than I do.
A big snake, too big to have in a house with a small child.
90 pounds.
More
it was
than
in a
the
locked
child.
cage, but I don't have them now. I got rid of them. I sold them. It was my hobby. I moved to Washington.
Pythons.
Hobby, why didn't you
Fish.
try supporting your family for
I
a
did. I
hobby?
did support my
But tell me
family.
something, Mr. This says this was worth $4,876 worth of reptiles.
Yeah.
If you had to go live with her parents in Washington,
No.
how do you pay for all this?
No, I know people at pet shops, and they gave me good deals. I got cages for free from friends. So I that's just an estimate of the stuff if you
So
bought
you
it
were
brand
able to
new.
talk people into good deals.
Yeah.
Great negotiator.
Yeah, sales,
But couldn't
stuff
hold down
like
a
that.
job.
No, I could hold down a job.
When divorce court returns, the judge renders her verdict.
So now what do you want from me?
No, nothing.
You don't want anything from me?
Judgment for my
Okay.
snake, no.
I'm ready to go.
And an update on the case of Markeisha Prayer versus Donnell Johnson.
What didn't he do as a man?
He didn't do nothing. That's the problem.
What was he supposed to do?
You know, making love and things like that, and taking out the trash and.
So you're saying that he wasn't good in bed?
No, he wasn't.
Divorce Court will be back in session in a moment. Divorce Court is back in the case of Heather King, who says her husband Thomas cared more about his reptile collection than he did about her and their child.
So why are you living off her mother and grandmother
We
in
went
Washington?
up there. I got a job up there. They put us in an apartment. They didn't like me from the get-go. I got a bald head.
Oh, that has nothing to do
Yeah,
with
they
it.
don't
Will
think
you
I'm a
treat
good
me?
dad. No, it's not the way I treat you.
Let him finish,
Let me finish
please.
my statement. The way her
Why don't you just give him my rope?
her mom, her stepdad liked me. Her mom and her grandma didn't like me. I had a job up there, and basically I fell out of place. So they bought me a one-way ticket back to California.
Okay, and you keep talking about they. They moved you. They moved you to the apartment.
No.
They bought you the ticket.
Yep.
What did you do for yourself?
Nothing.
I worked.
For
What
a
did you
month.
do with this reptile collection when you sold it?
Moved to Washington because I thought it was the right thing to do.
So how much did you get off the reptile collection when you sold
Not
it?
as much as it was worth because I
Well,
left
okay,
stuff.
but how much did you get was my question.
Probably I can't. A lot for some of it, and the others I left at a
that
friend's
much.
house.
How much? Those are numbers. 100,
Probably
200.
like $700,
you know?
$800 with the
Okay.
cages, and then I left some at my friend's house that was supposed to watch it for me. A couple of them, the cages and everything, and he went
So
camping.
you got $700 or $800, and what did you do with that money?
Basically, I gave her some of the money. She's my wife. It's 50-50. You know,
So now what do you want from me?
nothing.
You want anything
I want
from
my
me?
judgment for my
Okay.
snake. No, I want my judgment for my snakes and my reptiles. I didn't mean to say that.
Well,
But
I'm ready to go.
but I'm back. But now I got a bus ticket, and I ended up I'm in California living with my mom and dad, working.
So now you're saying, what you're telling me is that you have to sell your reptiles to move with her,
And
and
it
you
didn't
did
work
this
out.
for the sake of your wife, and so
my
now you're
kids.
upset and you resent the fact, and you want to be reimbursed for your reptiles because you sold them.
Yep.
What did you sell?
I sold tons of my daughter's stuff. I sold my couch.
Close it when she
Excuse
was
me.
What
going
did you
out
say?
Let me finish my statement.
Well, let me finish my story.
I sold my couch, which was an antique. I sold a wicker rocker that was very important to me that I sold. I sold tons of stuff.
So in other words,
Everything
you
at the
sold
yard sale
all
was
of your
mine.
possessions that were very special to you as well.
Yes, I sold
And what did
my
they co-
entertainment center, and you know the whole thing
did
was
we have
is
to
that
move to
Hold on a
Washington?
second, but you sold all of the things that were special to you too. Is that what you're telling me?
I did.
And how much did you sell your possessions for?
I sold it for.
Excuse me.
How much did you
Probably-
get?
Probably around $1,000.
So you sold all of your worldly possessions for $1,000 and relocated.
Well, yeah.
And you sold yours for $700 and relocated.
To Washington because I thought it was the right thing to do.
But
So
I-
do you think you should reimburse her for selling all of her worldly possessions?
She wanted me to. We could have stayed in California.
That was not my question. Do you think that I should reimburse her for what she sold to move?
Well, my snakes.
No, answer my
and
question.
my reptiles, yeah.
No.
Yes.
You
Your Honor.
sold your worldly possessions, which happened to be your reptiles,
Yep.
and moved. She sold hers and moved. Is she entitled to reimbursement as well?
Yeah, for $1,000.
Yes?
Yes.
So you
And
want to
she-
give her
I'll
back
pay-
$500.
It's 50-50.
And she gives you back $350, so you still owe her something.
No, my snakes are worth more. You know, they're worth. That's the estimate how much.
Obviously,
they
they're
were
not worth that. You didn't sell them, but you didn't give them $700. This is just what the word says, estimate.
Estimate.
But what did you get?
Not as much as they were
Okay,
worth.
then. So the value of items, no matter how much somebody else estimates them to be, is what a willing buyer is willing to pay. And willing buyer is willing to pay you, but $700. So
True.
I'm not going to live with this that is worth $4,000. You didn't get $4,000.
Nope.
All right. So now you're going to give her back half of what she sold, and you get half of what you sold, or do you want to just leave this issue alone?
Oh, we'll leave this issue alone.
I thought so.
Yeah. Basically, we'll just leave
And you
that
didn't
issue
ask for
alone.
half of yours back.
No.
Okay. Case dismissed. Course adjourned.
All rise.
When Divorce Court returns, an update on the case of Markeisha Prayer versus Donnell Johnson.
Why did you marry me then?
Yeah, why did you marry?
What, I had you coochie whooped?
Is coochie whip mean you had good sex? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Closed captioning for Divorce Court provided by. If you would like to have the judge hear your case in Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or email us at www.divorcecourttv.com. And now for an update on a previous case in Divorce Court. Markeisha Prayer said that she expected a lot more from her husband Donnell when she married him.
What didn't he do as a man?
He didn't do nothing. That's the problem.
What was he supposed to do?
You know, making love and things like that, and taking out the trash and things like that.
So you're saying that he wasn't good in bed?
No, he wasn't.
And he didn't make love to you
It
enough?
have a lot to do with it. It has a lot to do with it. Why did you marry me then?
Yeah, why did you marry her?
What, I had you coochie whooped?
Is coochie whip mean you had good sex? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Markeisha wanted Donnell to reimburse her the money she spent on a bus ticket and a hotel room when she visited him in another state. Donnell told the judge he told Markeisha their marriage was over, so he shouldn't have to pay. The judge ordered him to pay for the hotel room. Since they left Divorce Court, Donnell and Markeisha have not spoken to each other. Danelle has moved into an apartment with his new girlfriend, and they are expecting a baby in May. Danelle says he is thrilled about the pregnancy and cannot wait to be a father.
He didn't have really anything smart to say. I mean, you know, he just kind of dug himself in a hole. I should have filed because I would have gotten more out of it than he did.
Well, you got what you wanted, and I got what I wanted, so I hope you're happy.
If I meet the right person, I would get married again. Not for a while, though.
I should have done it more professionally and waited it out. Shouldn't have got her pregnant, but, you know, stuff happens.